4, 3, 2, 1. Scott, welcome to Hamza's Corner. You made it, man. You're here.
Hey, it's an honor. After I saw those videos from last week, I had to contact you and be like, I want a part of this. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad you broke the silence, man. I got a few questions for you. We're gonna try to make these shorter than last time. We can't have Caston or Steve ranting for 17 minutes about each other. But let's kind of get started. If you want to take this in a different direction, again, by all means, feel free to ask. I got a couple things here written down. So, one, hey, like, who's your favorite to win this year and why? Is it okay? Is it okay? Now that you're breaking the silence, is everything okay? What's going on? Are you superstitious? Like, what's going on there? And but first, how about we start by talking about hero to zero? What's going on? You went from hero, 2-time champion, to now you're fighting for not being the Ian. What's up there?
Well, let's see. After the last 2 years, win the championship, definitely a step back. I'm not going to make excuses, but I will lay some facts out. I had the most points scored on me this year. So once you're wearing the crown,
you got that down.
You got a target on your back. So, that's not an excuse, but that definitely happened. I did the draft at a bachelor party up in Seattle, so head was definitely not in the game. Taking Amari Cooper, that's a good example, and Jimmy Graham, because those guys fucked me this year. But yeah, I got every team's best, and I just didn't score enough points, and now I'm making it interesting. I'm playing in the Ian Championship, so I'm hoping to not win that one, but we'll see.
I will say, I scored the second most point, or I had the second most points against, and I was only like 20 and some change maybe behind you. But it does always suck when you get the most points against, because it leaves you wondering, like, if there was 200 less points against you, some of those games that you lost, some of those close ones that you lost, it's like, man, do I win those? What happens? Is it that big of a deficit? Any of that go through your mind?
It does. I think after you win it 2 years in a row, you kind of you learn that there's some fantasy gods out there. I'm a huge believer in the fantasy gods. This year, I think it kind of caught up with me. I've talked a lot of shit. Definitely the fantasy gods shamed me, and I probably deserved it. But, if you got to believe in them, whether it's good or bad. So the guys just threw a lightning bolt on my team this year, and, I like I said, I deserved it. But I'll roll with the punches.
Fantasy gods, I like it. So you are superstitious, or are you just a little stitious?
I'm definitely that's a good office quote right there. I'm definitely superstitious. I'd say I've been a little bit off the chat board this year because I just got engaged. So there's just been a lot of shit going on with that. But
shit, man, congrats.
Yeah, but no, I've been watching on stuff. I just really haven't been commenting. I think this year with Casson and Mayton, it's been one of the best shit talking posts, and I've enjoyed every second of it. I would also like to invest in real estate in Casson's head, but Mayton set the price pretty high, so I think he's going to be living in there in his studio apartment pretty solo for a while.
So you want to try to get some real estate in Caston's head. I don't know about you, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to win it this year? Everybody's kind of voting against him, but who do you think is the favorite?
Definitely not Casson. I would say Joe. I've always had respect for Joe and his team. I think he drafts well, he plays well, kind of a quiet assassin, but he's always up there and always making moves, doing the right thing. And, I think the fantasy gods respect that. I don't think they respect Casson one bit. So we'll let the gods choose the rightful winner.
Joe, you know what? And you'll see this in later on segment. We talked to Joe. Joe's got, nothing, not trying to overlook Matt or anything like that. He's got Matt before he gets to the finals, but he's had a pretty cushion. He's gotten really lucky with, I think he's got six or seven players that are all between KC and the Rams.
Wow.
That's a pretty big bet on two teams who ended up both being really good.
Yeah, I will say it, but that with that recipe, if they stay hot, then he's going to be hot until the championship.
I think the only reason why I put Matt at a huge disadvantage against Joe is because Matt has a couple guys that can fall. They can do really well sometimes, but I feel like Joe has and Matt's quarterback, who always seems to go off, is throwing to Joe's guys.
That's true.
So, and he's got Leonard Fournette, who's now suspended. So we'll see how that helps. It's going to be rough.
So
I do have to agree with you.
You got written down for me.
The only other question that do you got any words for Newman? Newman got. Him and you both have been fairly silent on the chat boards. Maybe throwing one or two things out there. Do you got any words for Newman going into the finals of the Ian?
Well, I guess what I'll say is, didn't he post some dildo video yesterday or something? Like,
he has been posting some. I think he got hacked. I don't know if that's really him or not, but if it is, it's hilarious. I love it.
It's a likely excuse. I will say that if he's throwing those homosexual posts around, it's going to be hard to beat him and smack him around. But we'll see. I would say right now my team is still pretty nice with Gurley and Thomas. So if I end up losing and I win the Ian, we can put this on the board that I will be getting the league something for the draft or something to make up for my horrendous showing this year.
All right.
Maybe you can put that on the books.
Hey, there you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. I appreciate it. Thank you for keeping it short and sweet. Hopefully we'll do another one. We'll probably do like an off season. Yeah. Like in the off season, we'll probably do a couple videos and share them here and there. But for the meantime, thanks again, man. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man. I'll talk to you later. Hamza?
All right, talk to you.
One. Joe B, welcome to Hamza's Corner, my friend. What's going on?
Not much, Hamza. How are you?
Good, man. Well, first off, welcome back to the States.
Oh, yeah. I made it back alive. I didn't get kidnapped. Nobody had to pay my ransom. We're good to go.
The real question is, did you get crabs? Because that's, I think, what everyone's wondering.
Which kind?
Good turnaround. Good turnaround. So, welcome to the corner. Got a couple things we want to talk about here. So, we've been hearing some chatter. We've been hearing some chatter on the message boards. Hearing some chatter with a couple of other interviews. Got a couple questions. One of them: do you really have the easy side of the bracket? We'll discuss some of the star power that you have, and then some are calling you really the dark horse of this playoffs based on the beginning of the year. But first, did you really say you're moving out because your roommates are a bunch of fantasy football losers?
I thought we weren't going to get into the roommates thing. I cannot confirm or deny that I am moving out. At this time, no comment. Sorry, Hamza. I just can't go there yet.
Okay, no comment.
But I will say this: my one roommate is terrible at fantasy football. He's going to win the Ian. It's locked up. All right, you can put that up.
It's locked up. I think he locked it up when he picked up McKinnon in the draft.
Or when he traded me and got Derrick Henry. Like that's sums up his season.
Well, what are you gonna do? So I saw you wince a little bit when I said dark horse. Right now you're really coming in second when it comes to most points for the league, right? Compared to Casson. Casson's got you beat.
By the facts, yes, by the facts.
And then Eddie really beat you in a one-on-one matchup, and you guys have a tied record. So in any other real playoff standings, you'd really be second, not first. And that's where part of my, should you really be the number one ranked person? Now, yes, you have more points than Eddie, but he beat you in a head-to-head. What do you got to say about that?
He did beat me in a head-to-head, but that was also in week 3? Week 3,
yeah.
Week 4? We played 10 games, don't we?
We do.
And that's our legislated tiebreaker is points scored. And to get to Casson, if you take away his 180-point week and you just make it like 130, like one of his normal weeks, I have more points than him anyways. So, I mean, if you want to talk consistently, I'm probably the most consistent scorer in the league.
Okay. Well, what about? I mean, your loss to Eddie wasn't by 10, wasn't by 20. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you lost by over 50 points.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day for me, but Eddie also, I think, if I remember right, scored like 160 points.
Yeah, he did. He had a record game against you.
He did. He had probably his best output of the season, and I just had an average to below average week. So it happens. That's why we play the games. It's just something that happened. It's in the past though.
Not to jinx your team, but I'm gonna say it. Your team hasn't had any injuries this year, or at least not. Your current roster. Let me rephrase that. Your current roster does not have any injuries, or nobody that's questionable, nobody that's doubtful, nobody that is potentially going to get shot up over the weekend. That's new for you. I feel like in past years, your team's always come with a ragtag bunch of guys. You don't really have the all-star power that you have this year. I mean, you got, some people are saying you got lucky because you picked up 6 players, 2 defenses. No one knows why. 2 defenses, but 6 players nonetheless from 2 of the best teams in the league that nobody would have thought of, the Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. What kind of went through your mind when you were picking some of these guys up?
Well, if you didn't know the Rams were going to be a good team this year, I don't know what to tell you, because they were an offensive juggernaut last year. And if you didn't think the quarterback was going to take steps and the playmakers were going to be there, then I can't help you with that. The Chiefs, they were the best tight end available. And then at worst case, Pat Mahomes has the strongest arm in the league. Ty Hill, the fastest guy in the league. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to throw it down the field as far as they can. It was a slight gamble, but it worked out. And for the injury thing, I think you remember my kicker was on IR for at least 5 weeks of the season. And he's the best kicker in the league. So I did have some injury controversy this year. I overcame it, but I did.
I think we'll wait for Matt's comments on your kicker debacle, but he's at least he's not hitting the pole 4 times. Yeah. Let's talk about your bracket. So when we're talking about your bracket, I mean, it's Eddie, Casson, and Tim versus you, Matt, and Steve. Some people are saying that if the sides of the bracket were basketball teams, Eddie, Casson, and Tim are like the Heat from 2011. Who are you guys?
Who are we? We would probably be the Lakers of right now. I'm LeBron James, and there's just other people on the court with me. That's about it. And specifically now it's Matt.
Just a bunch of other people. Speaking of Matt, what do you got to say about your matchup with Matt this week? Are you worried? Is this something that you're looking past?
Oh, no, I would never look past an opponent, especially in the playoffs. He had a great 2 weeks last week. He scored 280 points, and that was the most of the people playing in the first round. And Steve had the second most, I believe. So if you go back, you can actually say that my side of the bracket is a tougher route to the championship than Eddie's side.
Okay.
Because Tim scored under 200 points, and I mean, Casson I think was at 240. So,
but if you take a look at really Matt, you playing Matt is the most ideal pick, because his quarterback scoring any points realistically means you're scoring points. There's a 75% chance if his quarterback is throwing a touchdown, he's throwing it to one of the 3 guys that are sitting on your team, Hill, Kelsey, and that's it. But Hill or Kelsey.
Only 2 guys.
Yeah, Hill or Kelsey.
Yeah. As long as it's not Kareem Hunt or Sammy Watkins, just keep doing what you're doing, Patty Mahomes.
The other thing, I mean, kind of going through it, Matt also picked up Fournette, who just got suspended last game. So he's suspended this upcoming game. This is just ideal for you. You're sitting there in the ideal spot. Now, Matt is a tricky guy. He comes through sometimes, I can tell you. We're 1-1 right. I'm 1-1 against him this season. Some days he's going to perform, some days he's not. But that being said, You got plenty of star power on your team. You got Julio, Elliott, Kelsey, Hill, Goff. Who would you say right now, in your opinion, has been the difference maker?
The difference maker for my team, it's got to be Tyreek Hill. Like I kept Zeke and Julio, and they're both top 10 at their position, exactly where I expected them to be. But when you get a number one wide receiver out of a guy that I picked, I think, in the 4th round, that Casson decided he wanted to take Stephon Diggs ahead of Ty Hill, that's pretty good. That feels pretty good.
We're just gonna bash Casson. He's gonna watch this, and he's just
not bash it. That's a fact.
What is everybody always hating on?
That's a fact. That's a fact. Go back and look at the draft. He sat across from me on the table and said, "I got 2 guys that I know you want to pick. I'm going to take this one." Thanks, Casson. I got Ty Hill.
The real question: why do you have 2 defenses?
Because I have all my positions covered, and I saw a chance to pick up the 4th ranked defense in the Rams. And the Chiefs are playing Oakland this week, so I'm kind of in between on who I want to start with that matchup. Oakland's offense is terrible, but the Rams are good playing the Lions, so it's just options. I have options.
You do. You're kind of you're adopting maybe one of Casson's methods, which is pick up the handcuff.
The handcuff, but who did I handcuff? I pick up starters, except for T.J. Yeldon. I saw an opportunity to pick him up, and Fournette's been hurt the whole year, and then he did something stupid, so I got him on my bench, so nobody else could grab him. That's what happens when you have a bye and you got time to spare. You can do stuff like this.
Well, looking at here, I will say you were my pick. When we sat on this very table, you were my pick to win it all. You're my horse to win this. I think this year, you win this, you set a record. Not only do you become the 3-timer, right? Yep. You set. This season has pulled so many records between highest scorer, lowest. Just biggest differential, and then you got a potential to win 3 times. What would that mean for you?
Oh, being the first to win 3 times would be huge. Look how much parity we've had in the league. We only have 2 people that have won twice, and Scott just won his 2nd last year. And how long has this league been around? 10, 12 years? So to get to the 3rd one, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be great at the same time.
Speaking of Scott, he says hi, by the way. He's sent his ass down to the Ian. But I was talking to him earlier. He says hi. He says good luck. Definitely a big momentum going in. Any final thoughts for us?
I would also like to say hi back to Scott. Get better soon. I know you just tore your ACL. I would also like to congratulate you on your 10-year anniversary of being in the championship game. You lost that one. I can't remember to who, but I remember it was a blowout. That's all I know.
All right. Well, hey, good luck. I want to tell you, good luck. Go kick some ass, and we'll see how next week goes.
All right, Hamza, I'll talk to you later.
All right, take it easy, bud.